Welcome back to the Rally Report. A bit nervous for today's guest, another mysterious player who keeps a pretty low profile in the squash world, but really catching the attention of the squash community this year with his performances. Also, I was just talking about this with him off air that as someone who's looked through his entire Instagram, this guy has the best Instagram game in the business. It's a shame he's become big time now and is making his socials look very professional. Hopefully I can convince him otherwise to bring the old content back.
I think the good old days are gone, unfortunately.
But welcome, Rory, Stewart. How you doing, boss? How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm on a Monday, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
So I was going to ask how this summer's been. It's been quite the summer for you, I'm sure. I imagine with your legendary Commonwealth game performance, which we'll get into. But I just want to check in on how are things going as of late? What's been going in your world? Are you just been prepping up for the new season? I know that's just kick-started.
I've had a pretty good summer, or even like before summer. In terms of sports, certainly, I've reached a couple of finals. I don't think I've won an event this summer, but reached a couple of finals and sort of had a good training block in between tournaments, and fortunately managed to stay fit, sort of touch wood. The only thing that's letting me down is my football team at the moment. But apart from that, from the squash aspect, it's going pretty well. Yeah.
Do you support the Rangers? Who do you support?
Rangers.
Yeah, I think I got an Instagram question about Rangers' abysmal performance this year. But
honestly, I'll put on my brave face if we are going to talk about it. It was a pretty dark day on Saturday, I must admit.
So, have you had like a real break this summer, or has it just been all squash for you?
It's been quite a bit of squash. I had a break, maybe about. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I had like at least a week off, maybe just under 2 months from the games, which was probably needed. I had played quite a lot of events, and certainly for myself, I think everyone's different, but for myself, I think it's so healthy to take breaks every now and then, just like a week off. Like I think, if I'm being honest, I'm quite a lazy person, and honestly, like a week off, I don't necessarily go anywhere. I'm still staying in Edinburgh, but it's like a week watching telly or a week, I don't know, playing my PlayStation. It's just kind of completely like not even going near the sport, and then that kind of almost like I look forward to getting back on court after that week, and it kind of I'm looking forward to playing again. And then after the games, I had like maybe 2 or 3 weeks off, it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I've done it. And now the last couple of weeks, it's just been sort of getting back on court, and it's been good. I think last week was my first week that I actually managed to complete all the sessions instead of pulling up because my body was too sore or something. So that's progress in my eyes anyway.
So ideally speaking, for you, you'd like to stay put at home as your vacation, or do you like to travel?
I think my friends and I, unfortunately, quite almost all of them have now got like proper jobs, so I'm kind of the only one with like a free schedule, kind of whenever I want. I think we're looking at going to Croatia.
Oh shit!
But it kind of fell through, so I pretty much just had a holiday.
Okay.
In Edinburgh, it was good.
Just hitting up the PlayStation and FIFA, I'm sure.
Well, that and we went through to Glasgow to watch my football team play.
Oh, okay, that is pretty sick.
So it was just I was just kind of catting about Scotland, and now I was having fun there.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like a celebrity nowadays with the national? You've become kind of a national hero, haven't you, since that performance? Do you feel like celebrity back home?
No,
has life changed?
I wouldn't say that at all. You'd be surprised how quickly people forget about kind of squash or whatever I'd done. But I think what was good, it's like a sort of traditional Scottish thing in my hometown, and there's one in like almost all sort of cities and towns. It's called like the Highland Games. I was invited along to that, which was obviously pretty special, like the town I grew up in, and I certainly I don't know. I appreciate the gesture, and I took my medal, and I must admit, I think that medal went around everyone's neck. And then I think if I'm being honest, there's a fair amount of scratches on it now, but I look at it as having a bit of character about it.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'd be not willing to hand it off to anyone if I had a medal like that.
A couple of close calls. I'm not sure where it's going at some point, but I can safely say it's in my possession again.
But have you, like on a serious note, have you noticed the rise of attention on you as of late? I mean, I'm also dropping a episode of Players to Watch, and your name was 100% mentioned. And I saw recently the PSA video has released about videos of rising talents, and you're one of them. Are you recognizing this attention you're receiving, and does it put pressure on you right now? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely recognising it, and it's all coming sort of off the back of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people have gotten in touch from the squash world and outside the squash world, and I greatly appreciate that. I won't mention any names, but the people that have messaged me, it's quite a privilege to sort of hear what they have to say, and something like that regard. And then the PSA. No, I don't think it puts any pressure on myself. I kind of look at it as like sort of motivations. Like I've been on tour for a few years now, and I'd like to be higher, but it's like a tough old game squash, and there's so many good players all through the rankings. So I think, I just kind of use it as motivation, I suppose.
Well, before we get into the upcoming season, as I mentioned before, I do want to go over the Commonwealth Games and do a little bit of recap with you and how you were feeling. I guess the big shock came from your round of 16 match against Pat Rooney. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on before, like how you're feeling before the match. Were you confident, and just like the event in general? Because I also hear that you're notorious when it comes to putting up on that national jersey and you step it up, and you absolutely love the crowd. So I guess this event was like perfect for you, right?
Yeah, like absolutely. I'll start from the start.
Yeah.
I had my round of 16 match on the glass. My round of the first round match on the glass. It was against the Kenyan boy, and there was like I absolutely knew like anything could happen in these games, and all the pressure was on myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm not joking. I was like, I almost like forgot how to serve a squash ball again. And it's funny. Like this is obviously the biggest stage of my life, and it's funny like going back when I was 18. I first played for Scotland, and I think I ended up playing like Adrian Waller on the glass in the semi-finals of the European Championships, and there's like legends of the game in the crowd, like I think Nick Matthews in the team, Willstrop, and I'm just like a scrawny little 18-year-old. And I think I ended up going like 4 or 5-0 down in the first game, and I get my first point, so I'm serving. First serve was like down and short, like so embarrassing in front of everyone. I think there's footage of it on my Instagram, if I'm being honest. So I'm like that was definitely in my head, and like a few people have sort of mentioned, or I spoke to a few people about that before. I'm just kind of joking about it. Sorry, I feel like I'm rambling.
No, this is what we need. This is what we want to hear.
But in this instance, because it was like in my head, I was like, right, I'll just get your serve in and then hopefully take the rally from there. But I ended up just like putting it on the guy's racket every time, and he hit so many nicks. I was like, oh no, like I was struggling, and I must admit, like definitely, I didn't feel nervous before it, but I was probably just lying to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the moment, I was pretty shitting myself, and being honest, and fortunately, I managed to get through that. So back to the Pat match, because I had at least one game on the glass, so I kind of felt like, I don't know, I was a little bit more if I was to get back, I still had a tough game against Temwa Chilesi.
Yeah, I see that.
I ended up getting through it 3-1. Like I started really well. And but to be fair to him, he took the first game, and even in that moment, I'm thinking, like I'm 2 games away from getting knocked out. Like it was just I don't know.
Did you put
so much at stake, I suppose.
Did you put some expectations on yourself in this tournament when you're going in? Because I guess you are a seasoned pro now.
Yeah, and it's probably the same as on tour. I try and always make my seeding, and I just feel like that's the bare minimum. I know there's tough draws out there, been a lot of tough matches to make my seeding, but especially in the games as well. It's I knew when the draw came out that I would have been on the glass. If all the seasons went according to plan, I would have been Pat, who I'm really good pals with, and I kind of like a big occasion, and I knew that would have been the biggest. I think he was England number 2 behind Sherbaggy. So I just knew the kind of England-Scotland battle as well.
Yeah. So paint the picture for us in this Pat Rooney match, because it was an insane comeback and a huge upset.
Yeah, I've not watched it back too much, but I just remember feeling. I think in the second game. I think I won the first, and in the second game, I remember just feeling how tired I was. And I think anyone sort of listening, or if anyone's ever watched Pat, he stands so far up the court and just volleys sort of everything, and you end up just doing so much running. And I remember, I think me and Alan Klein were having a conversation about if you're ever tired, and there's a decision. Let's just say it's the Pat, and this actually happened I think it's the end of the second, but Pat hit such a good shot, and clear winner. But I just kind of run into him, kind of ask for a let. Referees obviously say no let straight away without hesitation. I'm review, and I just trying to buy myself some time, just because I've done probably too much work and I was exhausted, and thinking that it's going to get called straight away. No let, but I think I ended up getting myself a minute's time out of it, which was a bonus. But and then when it came down to, I go 2-1 down and then 7-0 down, I'm just thinking, get a point. You're embarrassing yourself. And I think once I got one, that maybe got a bit of momentum and just kind of carried that. And just honestly, just luck, just luck that I managed to sort of get back into it. And
it sounds like you're really not giving yourself credit for this comeback, and especially in that fourth game. But
honestly, if I'm being honest, and I will be honest, if I'm 7-0 down on tour, not I can 100% say I lose that match 3-1, but it comes back to what am I playing for in this environment. It's my parents were in the crowd, a lot of my friends came down. It's the Commonwealth Games, just kind of stick in and sort of have no regrets. And in this instance, I suppose that it worked for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've heard you always step it up when you have that jersey on your back. But so as soon as that match is over, you win in 5. I'm sure you're absolutely exhausted. And the next up, you have James Willstrop in the quarterfinals. And I remember even that after you won against Pat, there was huge attention blowing up. It was giving shockwaves in every squash community. How were you feeling? Were you all right, I just beat Pat. Confidence is pretty fucking high right now. Could probably take down James Willstrop as well. Or were you didn't even have time to soak it in?
No, I definitely had time to soak it in. I went and spoke to my parents, and I think they were a lot more buzzing than probably what I was. Don't get me wrong, I was proud of what I'd done, but I'm not going to blow my own trumpet and stuff like that. It's just not me. No, I probably had to recover and had to get some food. But when it comes to the James Willstrop match, he was the current gold medalist from the Gold Coast in 2018 and Ice World #1 and legend of the game. I just I knew I'd probably be feeling pretty sore the next morning, which I was, and even going into it, I was a little bit unsure at how my body would hold up. And I think I get a bit of a lesson in the first game, but I just kind of play my way into it, and then then I go 2-1 up, and how many people go 2-1 up and then they lose the fourth game easily. happens to me all the time, honestly. And but I had the fifth game was good, and I think I ended up going 7-4 up, and I'm being honest once again, I see the headlines. All sorts of stuff running through my head. So, but he showed sort of his class and his experience, and he managed to get back into it and he go over the line. Like, all credit to him. And I was still sort of, like I said, I had no regrets. I think I was like 7-4 up, and I go for like a nick or something, but it'll live and die by the 10 minutes.
Which I mean, it's on the scoreboard. It's like one's a win, one's a loss. But is there more that you're proud of? Like, in a way, are you more proud of the James Willstrop match, or are you more proud of the Pat Rooney match for you personally?
Equally proud of them both. Mm-hmm. I think I was going to say any given day I could have won both and I could have lost both. If I'm being honest, it was probably a blessing in disguise that I lost the Willstrop. I get like a best day. I didn't have to play 2 more matches and then go straight into the doubles. Yeah, you really don't have time to, because the doubles is right up. Yeah. And I know if I played Joe, I still would have given it my best shot, but he would have just had me running about all over the place. And then if I played Thora, it would have been the same thing. So it's probably a blessing in disguise. Maybe I lost it on purpose. I don't know. Just to get the bronze medal on the doubles action. Exactly. At least I came away with something, I suppose. How are you feeling now? Do you feel like you're still on that high, or like? I mean, it is an incredible performance that you put up through the entirety of that tournament. Do you has that ignited more fire in you? How are you feeling about this upcoming season? Yeah, absolutely. I think I still feel great about it. I wouldn't say I'm still riding the highs. I just have a good feeling about being back on court, but I promise you, I'm struggling to maybe reach that same level in training at the moment. Certainly when I got back after my 2 weeks off, I was like, right, I need to learn how to play squash again. And I think we're getting there, but I think there's still some more work to be done. And then just in terms of the season, I just want to get into the platinum events and have the opportunity to play these guys more often. Mm-hmm. And also kind of be on I don't want to say the biggest stage, but be on the glass again and be playing important matches on the glass. I just feel that probably brings out the best in me. Do you like the glass more than the traditional? Yeah, definitely. I'd say maybe just because you play so many guys on tour that are so fast and so fit, and they get so many, or they probably get a few more balls back on a plaster court as opposed to a glass court. But I don't. Yeah. I probably do prefer the glass. Rory, on a quick side note, I might be wrong. This is a complete long shot here, but are you the tallest player on tour? I don't think. I just saw you were listed at 6. Okay, I did see you listed at 6'4". I don't think I've seen other people listed at 6'4". I think James is the same size, and James is pretty big. Yeah, I want to say he's the same size, if not bigger. Apart from that, I can't think of too many. Do you like your height when it comes to playing on the squash court? Honestly, I wake up every morning and I'm like, oh my god, my back is in pieces. You wish it takes me about 10 minutes to get out of bed. No, I think that's the beauty of squash. There's so many sort of pros and cons, or advantages and disadvantages for sort of all sorts of heights. I think if I could have it my way, I'd maybe be a little bit smaller when it comes to the squash, but so you sort of play with the cards you're dealt, I suppose. So, Rory, I know you kind of keep a low profile, but it's really hard to find a lot of stuff on you. But are you? So you're based in Scotland. Have you always been based in Scotland during your professional career so far? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I first moved through to Edinburgh to study at 18, and the National Centre is at Herringwatt University, and at that time there was there were so many good players, and to be fair, there still are. But at the time, it was like Alan Klein, he would have been there. Greg Lobban would have been there. Like Douglas Kempsell, I think he got to like maybe 80 in the world. He's won quite a few PSAs. Like he still plays a lot, and he's still very good. But he's got a family and he's got a job and stuff like that. Like Kevin Moran, he's played in like 2 Commonwealth Games, played a lot of PSAs. Like there was lots of people there. Jamie Henderson, another one. So it was so good. It was such a good base, and that's where my coaches were. And I think at the time it was Roger Flynn was leading it, and Stewart Crawford, who I think you know.
Yeah.
He sort of coached me through the juniors and sort of encouraged me to sort of come along and sort of train full time. And then I've just been here ever since. I played an event in Birmingham. I think Rob Owen was at it. I played Charlie actually. I think Charlie gave me a bit of a lesson if I remember right. But Rob kind of spoke to me after it and sort of invited me to come and train for a week at his place.
Oh shit! Okay.
I did. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I went. But I just sort of felt that I don't know if you've ever been to Edinburgh, but it's like a lovely city, and I probably can't see myself living anywhere else. And I'm fortunate enough that like I've got all the support here with the Scottish Institute of Sport and Scottish Squash. Like Paul Bell and Kylie Lindsay are based here as well. So, and it's good even now. Like we have quite a few young guys coming through, like Al Trott and like John Mayhem, Andrew Glenn. They all kind of got their last years of juniors robbed from them because of the pandemic. But like they're great to train with, and Greg Lobban has just moved back as well.
Oh, so that must be helpful.
Yeah, and my flatmate Fergus Richards, he's just he's retired from PSA. He's got like a big boy job now, which is obviously good for him. But I was on court with him like every day, and like what a trainer he is. He's given me like a few humblings like on court and training. So definitely, I sort of take credit to all those guys that I mentioned. Like, it's a good base. I enjoy them.
So, for you, really, moving bases in the future is not really in your mind right now?
I've not really thought of it. Also, if circumstances change, then maybe. But for now, certainly for this season, and sort of going forward, I'm pretty happy here. And if anyone's listening, they're more than welcome to come. Like I can't speak highly of. I've always said to Sam Thomas, like, get yourself to Edinburgh, train with us. So he's always been, yeah, whatever.
He's not coming. I've seen what he's up to in the social. He's on vacation mode right now. It seems like the entire summer, but
fair enough. That's all right.
But so okay, so it does sound like a long-term player. So who is your main coach there?
So we have 2, Paul Bell and Kylie Lindsay. Kylie used to be, I think she was about top 30. She's from New Zealand. She takes all the group sessions, and I think Paul is sort of involved in group sessions as well. But Paul kind of more leans towards the individual aspect of like the coaching. So like I'll be at all of Kylie's group stuff, and then I'll be on court with Paul a few times a week as well.
Well, I also want to go back to saying, I mean, we were talking a lot about your Commonwealth performance, but Rory, you've been kind of killing it the entire season, the past season with the Challenger Tour. I think how many titles have you won?
I think it's 6.
So, I mean, how did you feel about the past season? Because, in a way, the Commonwealth performance wasn't like a massive shock considering what, the results you were having. I know you beat the likes of like George Parker in the European Championships, and you've had some good results here and there. So, in a way, it wasn't a huge shock. So, I guess was last season a success for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think one thing I've struggled with in the past is kind of having some consistency, sort of in all my events, and I think that I'm sure there'll be a couple of shockers in the last season. There always is with myself. Usually about Christmas time as well for some strange reason. but no, I reached like a lot of semi-finals and a lot of finals, certainly of the 10Ks, and I think that's something that I struggled with in the past. I think I won a couple, but yeah, I won one last October and maybe March time. But even since then, I've reached a few final 10Ks, but I'd say it's been a success. It could always be a bit better, right?
Yeah.
But no, I've had a good season. I've enjoyed it, and yeah.
And how many seasons have you played so far? Because you're 26 now, and you've been on the tour since 18.
No. I want to say maybe my 6th year.
6th year. Okay.
I started off playing. It unfortunately doesn't really exist anymore. But Tim Garner, he ran the BSPA tour, which was kind of like a British tour.
Okay.
And there was maybe like eight to 10 events, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of good people sort of played in it, and I think the money was all right. And I played in that kind of the first couple of years, and I done all right. Done all right there. I think I reached a few finals, or maybe one final, but it was good, and that kind of just gave me like some more motivation, and it kind of gave me the belief that I could maybe do all right on PSA tour.
Oh, I had no idea that tour existed. So yeah. Wow. Yeah,
unfortunately, it doesn't really exist now, but I think a few places like maybe Wimbledon and Boston and whatever it is in Lincolnshire, maybe, I'm not sure. And have you heard of the Edinburgh Sports Club Open? They were all part of it.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Gotcha.
It didn't really affect anyone's ranking. And I think the money's, I think the Edinburgh Sports Club Open is running again in January. I think the last winner was Gawad, but it's like a cash tournament. So it maybe takes a bit more pressure off anyone thinking about joining it, as it won't affect their ranking.
Got it. No pressure on the rank. Yeah, I guess I was asking that because I was curious. Do you enjoy being a professional, or have you struggled in the past about maybe wanting to leave? Have you had mixed feelings about it? Where's your headspace been throughout the years, 6 years you've been on the tour?
Yeah, I think maybe the first couple of years were really good. Kind of climbing up the rankings, sort of getting into more tournaments. It was exciting. Mm-hmm. Exciting to go to all these sort of places, these new places, and traveling was still fun then. But it's like anything when it doesn't go quite as well. It's the least enjoyable thing in the world. And if you travel afar and you maybe don't do as well as you're supposed to do, and you're stuck somewhere, like I played a tournament in Sweden once and ended up watching like 10 hours of Game of Thrones back to back just because I had nothing else to do. Like one day, like it's pretty bad. But I think COVID probably helped. Having like such a length of time out of the game. Like unfortunately, we were all out of the game, but it just kind of made me realise like this is what I want to do, and I've got this opportunity. And unfortunately, since COVID, it always helps if you're winning squash matches, I suppose. But since COVID, I have enjoyed it more, and I've maybe prioritised my squash and training over other things. So, so no, it's been good. And right now, especially off the back of the games, it's probably the best I've felt being on court in a long time.
So it's a big time.
Not that I felt too bad.
Big times ahead, I guess, in this 2022-23 season. Hopefully, is there like specific goals you've set for yourself?
Not really. I've never been one for setting, too specific goals. But one goal of mine for a long time is to be like top 50. And I think if you get yourself in the top 50, you then get into like platinum events, and then from there. It's just like hopefully a case of sort of like climbing up. I
mean, pretty close, I'd say already, 665. So I think I'm going to transition into the quickfire segment now. And we're going to start this off by building the perfect player for you. The rule is that you can only use active players when answering these questions, and no shame in choosing yourself for any of these questions. Thoughts on best forehand in the game right now?
My favourite's probably Mazen Hesham.
That's fine.
Like, just my flatmate and I, we always, if we're watching it and he's playing, do you know how he does the kind of stoppy drop in the front forehand?
Yeah.
Like, we always joke about it. It was just like, he would make us look so stupid. So I think for that reason, I'll probably go for it.
Have you ever played him officially on the tour?
No, right now, hopefully I don't ever do play. Like I say, he would make me look so stupid. It wouldn't even be funny.
Oh, well, we'd love to see that. But moving on to the best backhand in the game.
Probably, I'd probably go with Barag. I just kind of like the way that it just looks so easy anytime you sort of playing it. I didn't think, I wasn't going to say the top guys. It's probably a bit too cliche, but I think when it comes to the backhand, probably him.
How about best movement?
I like Joel.
Okay.
Everything just looks so efficient. And it just looks so easy as well. Yeah, I think if I was to go in, I'll probably Joel.
He's had a shocker of a result today. Losing it.
Well, obviously, Victor Kuhn is the best to go on to. So, as soon as you beat world number one at the time,
immediately.
Officially say you can officially say he's the best player in the world. But, yeah.
I see. How about best mental game?
I'll say Alan Klein.
Alan
Klein.
Yeah.
And this doesn't, I know you said mental game, but I'm really extending it to sort of training and the physical stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd like to think I'm not too bad when it comes to the mental stuff, but I'm definitely throwing a towel in hours before he does. So.
Oh, he seems like a robot out there when you see him play.
It's good, but even just like training in the gym and stuff like that, and I think. There's still many players on tour that I think you might end up getting onto it, but they're still physical. But I think the two go together, and yeah, I would go for Alex Klein.
This is a side question, but is there a specific player you love watching play?
I don't know if you've ever watched. I think it's called Balázs Farkas, the Hungarian,
the lefty. Yeah.
Have you ever watched him play?
I have seen him play, yeah.
He's so good at squash. So maybe him, or I always liked Gawad when he was at the peak of his powers.
Yeah. He's such a natural. But, yeah, I guess there we have it, everyone. That's Rory's perfect player. But I'm going to move on to the classic segment. But who's your favorite ref on tour?
I'll probably I've not been exposed to too many of the top refs just because of the events I'm playing, but I think Roy Gingell, I kind of like the way how he conducts himself. I think he's got like a bit of a personal relationship with the players. He knows them. He's kind of almost friends with them, so he can he quite often says it sort of straight up and how it is.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think if I'm playing and the ref's trying to, sugarcoat everything, it can end up getting a little bit messy. So, I haven't been a bit more forward in his approach. I sort of respect it a bit more.
In the Challenger Tour, is it mostly, do players have to ref each other?
Yeah, the ones in England,
not too much.
In England, they'll bring in kind of English refs. It's obviously good that the players don't have to have the burden on themselves. Like, if I've got a short story. I ended up having to ref like a 10k final in Switzerland, and it was timing against a Mexican guy, Juan Camacho, and
yeah,
and I think, I don't want to say it, it doesn't really matter now, but there was some contact between Steinman and Juan was unable to play, and it's left on me to decide the winner of this tournament.
Oh,
and I thought right there and then it was like a shambles that I had the responsibility, so I basically just shit bagged it, and I was like, "Oh, PSA, I don't want this. I don't want this one."
Wait,
but
yeah.
Sorry.
No, he said it's just so funny. It's just so funny how everyone thinks they're the best ref until you're actually sitting on that seat and nothing seems clear.
Yeah, I'm the best ref in the first and second round. Honestly, it's scary. So I got to respect the rest for sort of putting themselves out there, I suppose. So.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be me.
How about best dressed on tour?
I'm not too sure. I certainly don't know who's the worst dressed, but best dressed, they might. I don't know.
I mean, we can go straight. We can go straight to the worst dress.
I just feel like all the, or more like 90% of us will always just kind of cut about in shorts and tracksuit bottoms and stuff like that. So
it's hard to tell.
Maybe we're all just as bad as each other.
Do you have a worst dressed player in mind?
I'll go Lisa Aitken, but I think if there's anyone that can pull off what she does wear, it is Lisa Aitken. But yeah, even like at the games, she had these like big orange sunglasses, and honestly, she looked like Elton John in them. And I think after we won our medal, obviously a few beers down, I think I stole them off her, and I was like, kind of ran about singing Elton John songs or something. But I definitely think I go with Lisa Aitken.
Oh, I really hope she hears this. I might have to take a cut out of that clip right there. But who would you like to see, who would you like to see in the commentators booth within the squash community that you think would be funny in there?
Probably like, I'll tell you exactly who it is. Pat Rooney and Connor Sheen.
Like, the combo of them.
Honestly, I've been on I think maybe one night out with them both, and just they two they're like the Chuckle Brothers. Like, you might not know, I don't know if you know who they are. It's like a British thing, but they two together would be very funny, I think. And I'm more going for the entertainment side rather than
the professional,
the serious, sophisticated professional side. Yeah, like, it's funny. At the World Doubles in Glasgow, that was in April time, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a lot of the parents were like invited into the commentators booth to do it, and it was like Scottish Squash done a really good job. It was like ended up on the iPlayer, and it was like done really professional. My partner and I, Greg Lobbin, we got invited into it, and kind of similar to this. I'm not maybe taking it too seriously. Maybe saying things that are a bit out there, and I think after the match we were told that we weren't allowed to do it again.
Oh my!
Sorry for that. Another story rambling again, but no, Connor Sheen and Pat Rooney.
So I mean, seems like you've been flagged already. But if they were to invite you on the tour to jump on, would you happily accept that?
Only if my partner Greg Lobbin is on with me.
He brings the best out of you.
Come as that team.
So I know you. I mean, you're already a really good doubles player, and I know you just won the bronze medal in the Commonwealth. But I was going to ask you how you felt about doubles, and I guess there'd be only one right answer for this. But who would you pick as your dream partner?
I've already got my dream partners, Greg Lobbin and Georgia Adelaide. I think if for one match I had to go with someone else, I'd probably go back to the Hesham.
Yeah,
probably answer him in the forehand, and I would just hit the ball over there and not have to worry about doing anything else. So,
do you prefer the backhand side on the doubles or forehand?
Probably the backhand. Like, I started off in the forehand, and I maybe wasn't quite as solid, and even like the way I play squash and singles, I try and sort of construct everything through the backhand. So, yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm maybe a bit more solid.
How about, what are your thoughts on nicknames for PSA players?
I think I'm a big fan of them, but I also think there's a lot of shockers out there.
I'm not
going to say any of them, but I'm sure the people, and there's some people as well that have given themselves their nickname, and I think that is bang out of order. I'm not gonna say who that is.
Well, I'm not sure who's given themselves.
I'm all for nicknames. I'm all for nicknames, but as long as out there, I don't know.
So
I suppose that's subjective.
I see, and Rory's not going to drop any names here, unfortunately.
but for as long as I'm still playing, I'll not say any words.
Do they have a nickname for you?
I don't think so.
Oh, they should. Do you have any ideas? I know. I'm sure you love giving yourself a nickname. Any ideas?
No. I'll leave that for other people to do if they want to. I need to get better at squash before I get a nickname.
I don't know. I think you're getting at the.
That's how it normally works.
Yeah, it seems like that's how it works. Have you thought of coaching post career, or no?
Yeah. So like even now, like every 2 weeks, I try and get down to like a squash club that's an hour away, and I do enjoy the coaching. And pre-COVID, I probably coached a little bit more as well. But for now, like for as long as I'm playing good enough squash, I'll try and stick to that first.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something I've thought of, and something hopefully I'll.
It's pretty good money. What do you say? In the coaching gigs?
Yeah, pretty good money.
Yeah.
I think at the start, like if you're to go over, and it's all in the States, right?
Yeah.
And I just hear stories about people being on court for 6 to 10 hours a day, and I don't know. I just feel like that maybe be a little bit too much for me. But
I say. We're going to go into some spicy ones. Who do you think is the most underrated player on tour?
I'll go for that Balazs Farkas again. Honestly, the guy's amazing.
Yeah, he kind of got attention to Zed Open when he pushed Victor, who in Rory's definition is the best player on tour.
Yeah, well, by him being world number one, I suppose he can call himself that.
How about most overrated player on tour?
I don't. For as long as I'm still playing, I don't think. I've got a few names in my head. Don't get me wrong. But for as long as I'm still playing, I'm afraid I can't give you that one.
All right, another refusal of answering this question. But how about we switch it up to who do you have the hardest time playing against? Who do you dislike playing on tour?
Anyone that's better than me and can hit the ball harder than me. So almost half the tour. First to I think lately, like Curtis Malik, he's someone that's rising through the rankings as well.
Yeah,
and like fair play to him. Like I've played him quite a few times. I don't think I've lost him yet, but every time I've played him, it's like closer and closer. So it's never comfortable. He's got a lot of attacking options. So and also he's earned where he is, and I'm sure he'll climb even higher. So I'm going to say Curtis. He's always given me a tough time. And like it's probably bad saying this, but hate playing people that like every point they play as if it's their last, just because there's no cheap points, and I wish I could have that attitude, but unfortunately I don't quite have it. I go through spells in the match, but anyone who's gonna has that attitude as well.
I see. All right, so I'm moving away from some squash questions to life-related ones. Rory, if you're shipwrecked on an island, all your basics are covered. What are the two things you bring with you?
The two things. Probably a bit boring. I'd probably take my phone, and honestly, I hate myself for that answer. But that's quite funny. Every Monday you get your screen time.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not going to tell you now. Let's just say it's not good.
All right, how about?
It's pretty shocking.
Is it above 6 hours or below 6 hours?
Above 6 hours.
All right, we'll leave it at that.
It's not good. I promise you that. So I'll take my phone. I like my music, so I'll probably take my headphones as well.
Headphones and phone.
I'm sorry to the listeners, but
I mean that's the honest truth. It's the honest truth. Yeah. Best and worst purchase you've made.
Have you ever seen the show Top Boy?
No, I haven't seen this.
It's quite like a British thing. There's a character in Top Boy that has got like a jacket. It was quite expensive. It's probably the most expensive item of clothing I've ever bought. I wanted to look like him, so I bought the jacket. So I suppose that's the best. And
Is it like a leather? Is it a leather jacket or?
No,
it's
like a big puffer jacket. But
okay.
I just wanted to look like the guy. I think the worst. I'm quite. Don't get me wrong, I bought a lot of stupid things in my life, but I don't think there's anything that really sticks out.
All pretty good purchases, I'd say, then.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't think there's anything that sticks out. I wish I had an answer for it.
How about favorite alcohol drink of choice?
Is there an occasion?
Yeah.
Probably change. What's the occasion? And I'll be able to give you an accurate answer.
Why don't we do two different scenarios? Just like a classic Friday night wind down, or like you're celebrating. What would be those?
Right. And the Friday, I'd probably just like a crate of beer or something. That would probably.
What was the first drink you went after your Commonwealth Games? What was the first drink you had?
I think it was like a can of beer or something from the stalls outside. And then if I was to go pretty hard, I'd probably get Snoop Dogg gin and juice, right? I'd probably go gin and orange juice. That's probably what I'd do.
Gotcha. And to wrap it up, biggest pet peeves for Rory?
I don't like people that don't have manners.
Yeah.
Quite a boring answer, if I'm being honest.
Can you give us some specific answers of like an example of people being rude?
I probably can. I was on a first date once, and the person wasn't being particularly nice to the waiting staff, and I was too polite to get up and leave, so I just I waited until then, but I didn't speak or see them again.
I see. How about, does this apply? I'm sure this applies on the squash court as well.
Oh yeah, I should have, when you said that. I don't know who I hate playing against. Like anyone that's a dirty player. Yeah. I can't stand it, and but just simple stuff like that. Because even like the way, if you look at the top of the game, or even I'll stick to the top of the game. Like, it's so good to watch the ladies at the moment at the top of the game. Like they're obviously all brilliant, but they're fair as well. Whereas like the top of the men's game, I think there can be some pretty ugly matches. So,
do you think it's progressively gotten uglier as of late?
Yeah, just the last couple of years, just because I think there's like a set of imposed rules kind of on certain things, and it's pretty easy to kind of exploit those rules to your advantage at times. And it's not nice to see. Hopefully, it changes.
I don't know, Rory. I don't think it'll change this season.
No, I don't think so.
But all right, I think,
and even like down at the Challenger too, some pretty ugly matches down here.
I think the Challenge Tour is just as ugly from like watching some of the footage.
Not nice, man. Nice.
But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Just big thank you to Rory for joining in, and I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me.